Okay, this experience happened around June. It's probably been about 6 months. So anyway, it was kind of weird because I feel like some Greyz gave me this experience, and I feel like they've never really given me any experiences before. Not this group anyway. Because it's kind of, it wasn't really like them to give me alien symbols or languages, because they've never done that before. You know, so why would they start 6 months ago? I know exactly what all of my different groups of Greyz do to me. And so I feel like just, you know, a random group or whatever created this lucid dream virtual reality experience for me. You know, a group that's never given me experiences before except this time. Because why would they just all of a sudden, you know, give me an alien symbol, language communication? And I remember it very clearly. Well, what the deal was, they created, I feel like that, you know, that was the first experience that particular Grey or a couple of Greyz gave me. Because, like I say, they've never given me language before or symbols before. So it's just kind of odd. And a lot of times, you know, I totally, when I have an experience or whatever, I totally have a good impression. Like, you know, and that's my impression. I feel like it was a Grey or a couple of Greyz that were just kind of assholes that gave me this experience. Well, I don't know if they're really meaning to be assholes, but, you know, they don't really think like us. I mean, they don't, the reptilians have a sense of humor, but the Greyz don't necessarily have a sense of humor, so I don't really think they know what an asshole means, if you know what I mean. So, okay, so anyway, what the deal was, all of my lucid dreams, aka virtual reality experiences, all my life have felt almost, well, like I say, some of the virtual reality experiences feels no different than just 3D, because sometimes when they pop you in a virtual reality experience, like, you don't even know that you're out of this 3D reality till you wake up. Sometimes I do know, though. Lots of times I do know that I'm in a virtual reality experience when I'm in the experience. But still, they feel no different than 3D. And I'm not saying it's all-inclusive. But the lucid, when they create lucid dreams for me, I still totally feel like I'm out of body. It totally feels like I'm there. You know, it does not feel like a dream. It totally feels like I'm there. It totally feels like I'm out of body. Except the environment, the atmosphere feels like freaking utopia. I can't explain it, but it feels nothing like this, you know, this 3D reality. It feels like utopia. It just feels like awesome. And it feels more, you know, it doesn't quite feel like a virtual reality experience, so to speak. Like, it doesn't feel like 3D, like the energy of 3D. But sometimes they still have kind of a dreamy feel to them. You know, like, I can't explain it, because it still feels like you're out of body, like I'm out of body, and that I'm in the experience, except the atmosphere feels more dreamy, and it feels totally like I'm in utopia dimension. I mean, totally like I'm in freaking heaven, basically. Or the fifth dimension, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but I've been having these kind of experiences all my life. But one way they create the lucid dreams is, I mean, this is one way. There may be 5 million ways, but one way they do it, and also the virtual reality experiences, they pull my astral body out while I'm completely awake. And sometimes they probably can even do it when I'm asleep. Well, I know they can, when I'm not aware. But yeah, I become totally conscious when I'm in the scenario. But sometimes I don't necessarily feel them pull me out. Like I'm not conscious of that. And then boom, once they start the scenario in the altered state, I know that I'm in the scenario and I'm totally conscious of it. But lots of times my being, several groups, reptilians and Greyz. I'm not sure of any other types. I'm trying to think. But definitely the Greyz and the reptilians. And I'm wondering if even the government can also give me some virtual reality experiences, some human agents. I think that's possible because I've had at least 3 that could have been human related. Because like I say, one, I don't know if she was a freaking alien or not. She seemed too nice to be a human though, so I don't know. I don't know if it was an alien that was able to sound very, very, very human that basically told me, you know, the aliens have been doing this all my life, which I already knew that. I mean, I already knew they had been doing it for quite some time, but I guess it didn't really dawn on me until I started thinking about it, how when she told me, you know, they've been doing it all my life, and then I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because I remember experiences, like virtual reality type of experiences since like age 7. And an out-of-body experience. They create all of those for me too and give me that ability since age 7. But yeah, so a human agent came to me and spoke in my left ear last March, at the end of March. And that's when my activity slowed down a little bit. But I had a lot during that December, January, and February. And this year, I haven't had as much during those months. But yeah, she basically just bam, via my ear, left implant only, popped me in a virtual reality setting in my driveway. And so like I say, the government may be able to do that as well. I can totally tell when it's possible. Like I say, I've only had about 3 virtual reality experiences that I think possibly could have been by human agents or whatever. But like I say, I don't know, because I had a MyLab total virtual reality experience a couple years ago in my house. But like I say, so, but you know, the aliens can create all of that too. And like I say, I've only had about 3 where I think possibly could have been by humans or whatever, because the humans can probably, they know who the abductees are, and they can kind of go off the implant that the aliens put in. And, you know, they probably have technology to do that as well, like create virtual reality experiences. I think that's possible. But with me, I mean, I pretty much, if the humans are involved, then they're totally, you know, indirectly involved, indirectly involved, because most of all my activity is total alien activity. But I think some of the humans do know that I'm being tampered with. So I think they're maybe involved, like maybe 2%, like where they know when the Greyz are coming in and abducting me. I think they know. But I mean, they're normally not directly involved with any of my activity. Except, like I say, there may be about 3 virtual reality experiences that I had that possibly could have been by human agents. I mean, I know that they can beep in on my left non-physical implant. I know they can do that. So if they can do that, they probably can create, you know, some virtual reality experiences on occasion. But like I say, 98% or 99.9 is all done by aliens. I know that for a fact. But anyway, so, but yeah, I don't know how it works exactly. How, you know, I don't know how, you know, if they're talking to the aliens. I mean, how the hell are they talking to them? Just telepathically like I do? I mean, if I can do it with ease, why couldn't some of their people do it with ease too? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they're communicating to them, they're doing it like I am. They're not sitting there like face to face with them, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't sit there face to face with my aliens and communicate to them, because you can't sit there face to face with them. They can't just manifest as physical whenever they feel like it. I mean, unless there's some aliens that maybe do have that technology, and maybe they only do that in front of, one person in the world, some special agent or whatever, human agent or whatever. But, so anyway, I do feel like a couple Greyz who gave me this experience have never given me experiences before. Like, this was like the first time. But, who knows? That could be the same group. The group that gave me this experience 6 months ago. I just posted that video a week ago where I had that anomalous, weird encounter just standing in front of my kitchen sink, where my left wrist just started burning. It just started I kept feeling all this heat coming off my wrist, and it started burning, and then it became red for no damn reason. So that's very odd. But so now I'm thinking, this experience 6 months ago and this lucid experience that they gave me, lucid dream experience, I believe was the same group that just burnt my hand a week ago, because it's too similar. And so anyway, one way they create, the aliens create the lucid dreams. I mean, they're not dreams. They're freaking, that's why I call them lucid experiences, because they're not dreams. A million times better than a dream. So, they'll take me, they'll pull me out right when I lay down, or sometimes I can just be on the couch and they'll take me. They even tried to pull me out when I was driving down the road. Well, I mean, I guess they did pull me out, but it was just kind of freaky, feeling like you're going to go out of body driving down the road. And it's like I don't travel far, so why couldn't they have just waited till I got home? So when I lay down, before I even fall asleep, they immediately pull me out of body, but I'm awake. And then, of course, my consciousness stays with my physical body. And then when I go to sleep, they pop me in this awesome, virtual reality scenario or lucid dream. And that's why it feels so damn realistic. Because it's not a dream. They're totally using your astral body, which comes with your astral brain and everything, and they're somehow manipulating it and then creating this awesome out-of-body experience in the altered state of consciousness, which is called a lucid dream. But it's basically an out-of-body experience. It's just ass backwards way. And because the real way to go out of body, I have millions of experiences like this, is where like the reptilians will come to the foot of my bed, or a Grey will stand at the foot of my bed. Or like they don't even have to be in my bedroom necessarily. They could just kind of dip down from their dimension into this dimension. And that split second before I fall asleep, boom, that's when they have to take me. Those are the real out-of-body experiences. But all these other ones are basically out-of-body experiences too, either artificially or non-artificially, or by, by technology or whatever. That's what I mean by artificially. But there's still, even a lucid dream is an out-of-body experience. It's just an ass backwards way of them doing it. But sometimes they can still create a virtual reality experience where they still pull me out while awake, and it does not feel like a lucid dream. The atmosphere still feels like total 3D. Yeah, so sometimes sometimes they can pop me into that lucid dream atmosphere where it feels like utopian, like I'm in a different dimension, and then sometimes they pull me out while awake. And, they somehow can alter the energy. They can, I don't know how they do it, but they can do it. They can alter the energy. It's really weird, but yeah, and sometimes they can just boom just by your implant alone, plop you in a virtual reality setting, and yeah, and lots of times those do not feel like, the atmosphere doesn't feel like a different dimension or like utopia. It just feels like 3D reality. So anyway, this was an out-of-body experience basically, but it was a lucid dream experience where I'm sure that's probably what they did. They were taking me out, and they take me out sometimes almost nightly. Out of body. While I'm awake, right when I lay down. And like I say, sometimes I don't know what they're doing with it because, like, I'll wake up the next morning and I'll be thinking, well, I didn't really get an experience. So I don't know. I don't know what the shelf life is. But sometimes it'll be many, many groups that will take me per night. That hasn't happened in a while. But about 3 years ago, oh my God, many groups were coming just every night. Like 9 times a night were taking me out, my astral body out while awake. But I didn't know what they were doing with it at that time. I didn't know they were creating all my dreams and lucid dreams and virtual reality experiences, with it. So anyway, this was an experience I had about 6 months ago. And this is the lucid dream scenario they created for me. I was in a high school, almost like the high school that I went to. They duplicated that. It was like I was at, I'm not going to name the name, but it was at the high school that I used to go to. And I was in a classroom. And there's probably a lot of details that I forgot because I didn't actually write it down. But that's not the important part anyway. But yeah, it's really weird. They placed me in a classroom, and they even put this my neighborhood friend, so to speak, when I was like 7 or 8 years old in the scenario, Nicki. Her name was Nicki, but she was like 3 or 4 years younger than me. And but so that was kind of weird. They even placed her in this scenario. And we were both in the same classroom, and I remember it's like she was trying to open my wallet up and steal my money. But anyway, and I remember going outside, outside to eat lunch on the patio. That was part of the scenario. But the main part of the scenario, what was kind of cool, about 2 classrooms down was a little counselor office, but it wasn't really a counselor office. It was a small little room, and it said regression therapist, and / counselor. But this person, and I knew this very clearly, that this person only came to the school because she lived in another state. She only came to the school, and I'm not going to mention any names, but she only came to, I know who it was, but she only came to the school once every 6 months. And she had this small little office, and, the sign above or to the side of her door said regression therapist and counseling. But I knew very well that she only came to the school once every 6 months. And she was not there at the start of this lucid dream scenario. And but later on, she showed up. And the weird thing is, she looked about 20 years younger than what she really is. And so here's the main part of this lucid dream, aka virtual reality experience. Because it was basically a lucid dream, because like I say, the environment still felt like a utopia dimension, like a heaven dimension. It just feels awesome. But there was a virtual reality element. And that's where all this alien language symbol comes in. Because like I said, my lucid dreams, I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm in a school, it doesn't matter if I'm just walking along the street in a weird town that I don't even know what town it's called. Most of my lucid, like I say, I can't say 100%, but at least 99.9%, the energy feels just insanely, it feels like a heaven realm, it feels like the fifth dimension, it feels like utopia dimension. And, okay, so here's where the virtual reality part comes in. I look down at my hand, my left hand, and the gray alien, now they didn't show themselves in this scenario. Sometimes they do show themselves in my scenarios. But the gray had carved, I mean literally with the razor blade carved in, that's why I put razor blade encryption, carved in my left hand this exact symbol, this alien language symbol. And exactly like, it's kind of hard to draw straight on this template. So I found those, that Hanukkah candles that I found previously on the internet. I had those saved, and so I just flipped them right side up and upside down, because that's basically the same symbol. I mean, that's exactly what the alien language symbol that was carved on my hand with a freaking razor blade. Exactly like this. But like I say, it was easier making that than trying to draw it to make, you know, straight semicircles. So, anyway, my hand was burning real bad. You know, it was burning because it had just been carved in with a freaking razor blade. And, like I say, that's why I put left hand, razor blade encryption, alien symbol on the top of my left hand, and it was stinging. Of course, it was stinging. Of course, you know, they can make you feel pain under these abductions, so to speak. They can make you feel pain. So, it, you know, it didn't feel as bad, like as if I was in 3D reality and they freaking carved it in my hand, you know. But, you know, it would have felt worse if somebody actually did that in 3D, if you know what I mean. But my right hand was all red. Like, I guess they just decided, okay, well, we did this to her left hand. Let's just make a right hand feel pain too. Okay, so my right hand was all red and burning. Like, I don't know why they wanted to put pain with my right hand as well, but they did. There wasn't no alien symbols or anything in my right hand. My right hand was just red and burning. And like I say, the left hand had a clear alien symbol, language symbol. And, but like I say, I think they were just being assholes. I don't think they were trying to communicate to me. I don't think they were trying to say receive. Like, yeah, like receive freaking razor blade encryption on your hand. Receive this, bitch, you know? That don't make no damn sense. But like I say, they don't quite think like us. They don't have a sense of humor like the reptilians. The reptilians are very human-like. Or some of them can be anyway. So anyway, I just think they have a very weird sense of humor, so to speak. I mean, they don't have a sense of humor at all, the Greyz, but they just like screwing with us humans so they can. You know, I don't think they necessarily have a reason for doing some of it. Like, I think they were just doing this for shits and grins, so to speak. But, I mean, I loved it because, you know, my experiences are never like this. They never give me any kind of alien symbols and try to communicate to me they never taught me alien languages. That's not their thing. So it was very awesome. I mean, I love this experience. So that's why I feel like it was like a Grey or a couple Greyz that have never given me an experience before. But like I say, they just did recently. They gave me another one because it's kind of funny how a week ago I had that anomalous encounter standing in front of, and this was in 3D. Anomalous encounter standing in front of my freaking sink, and all I did was come out of the bedroom. I took the little plastic canister. I was taking it to the, you know, outside, And, I mean, it was cold. I mean, it's not like the vacuum cleaner was hot or anything like that. The vacuum cleaner was cold. The plastic container was cold. And, I took it to, the kitchen, laid it down. And like I say, it was cold. It was plastic. So that had nothing to do with my burning wrist. But anyway, so I just set it down and I decided to pour some water before I took it outside. And I was just standing there for several minutes at the sink. There was nothing around to produce heat. Nothing. I mean, there was no iron sitting there. No, what do you call it? A hair dryer sitting there. Why would I put or no blender? But I mean, a blender is not going to sit there and, I mean, it was just me standing there, that's it, and my water pitcher. And actually, there's nothing to the left of the sink. There's only a coaster. A plaster, what do you call it? A hot pad or whatever, plaster. Or clay or whatever. That was the only thing to my left of the sink. To the right was my pitcher, my water pitcher, which was all cold. I leave it out, so it's, it gets cold. And I was just standing there, and then a few minutes went by, and all of a sudden I started feeling this heat on my wrist. And I'll put that video in this video. I'll put the link in this video. Yeah, so my left wrist had just started burning all of a sudden, just burning. And then, like, the next thing I know, it was all red. The top of the wrist was red, and the bottom of my wrist. But that was my wrist. This experience was with my hand. It was the top, my hand was burning. So see, that had to have been the same freaking group that gave me that lucid dream experience where they burnt the shit out of my hand and encrypted my left hand with a razor blade, so to speak. I mean, that's what it exactly felt like. And so anyway, so just a week ago, I mean, that's how I mean, a lot of the aliens will come forward and they give you the same shit over and over again. They'll give you similar, encounters. And but the thing is, this was in 3D, so it was pretty freaky because they don't do a lot of weird things to me in 3D. And I mean, it didn't bother me that bad. I mean, it's not like it was like excruciating pain. But I mean, if I woke up physically and I had this freaking, if I had scoop marks and shit like that, that would freak me out. You know what I'm saying? If I had physical scoop marks well, now I have had bruises, but that doesn't freak me out too much. But if I had a big old deep gash or symbol, bloody symbol or scratch or whatever, like a symbol, like a big symbol on my wrist or something like that, in 3D, that would kind of freak me out. It's like, I'm glad they don't do a lot of hardcore stuff to me physically. I mean, if they do sexual stuff, I mean, yeah, I'm all for that. I mean, that's cool. That's fine. But I don't want them doing like hardcore shit physically to me that freaks me out. If they do it under the altered state of consciousness, that's fine. But yeah, so that was basically my experience. This was really weird too. Several months ago, I'm wondering if a group, and I don't know who it was, maybe some reptilians, maybe some Greyz. I don't know if there's some doctor reptilians. Maybe they like to take eggs by literally sort of physically, so to speak, like going up you or whatever. I don't know. And because I know there's some gray groups that are more high tech, and they will take eggs out certain times in my life, but they just do it through my stomach. I mean, they'll just use their technology and suck out the physical eggs by their ethereal technology through my skin. That's how they take the eggs out. But they don't do that very often. I know they've done it at least twice, and that's how I correlated that pain that I had back in 2004 upon awakening. And then just around 2014, I would abruptly wake up. and I would have this pain all across my stomach. Like, I guess it would be where my ovaries are, from left to right. And then boom, they would shut off the pain instantly. And I know that's what they're doing, but maybe a few months ago, maybe another group decided to take eggs differently. But I don't know, like what they did was they aroused everything. I mean, why would you have to arouse everything if you're doing that? You know, but they aroused everything in my hoochie coochie, you know. And I mean, I had freaking nerve. I mean, I woke up all aroused. I had freaking nerves in places where there shouldn't be nerves. I mean, it literally felt like they were like spreading it open and everything else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this was physical. This wasn't an altered state of consciousness. When I was asleep, they did something to me physically. And I was freaking aroused all over. You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking maybe they kind of went up there and took eggs out like that, you know, instead of through my skin. And then maybe they just decided, oh, okay, let's just arouse it, you know, like crazy. But I mean, they're magical. I mean, they can freaking, if they wanted to put a G-spot in your wrist, they could probably do it. You know, they're magical. So, yeah, man, when you become attuned to your shit, man, I'm just really, I mean, I'm just not like half-ass attuned. I mean, I became attuned all the way where they can't hide anything from me. I know every single freaking thing that they do. You know, unless they come when I'm totally asleep and then I wake up the next day and then they don't leave any bruises or anything. And believe you me, there's one group that does that. But lots of times they will leave bruises behind. That group will. And if I put a tape recorder on, I can actually get them on tape recorder. And I actually caught them on a tape recorder coming 45 minutes after I went to bed and after I fell asleep. Yeah, you can hear them. There was like 2 of them that came that time. But yeah, sometimes the little shits will come lurking in the night and you will never even know it. And even if you wake up with bruises, I mean, if you're not attuned to your shit, you know, you're not going to, you know, normal person is just going to think, oh, I bumped myself or whatever. Okay, well, thanks for listening. But yeah, like I say, I really enjoyed this experience because of the alien symbol. That was really awesome because, like I say, they've never done that before. They've never tried to communicate to me by alien languages. Or, you know, they never taught me that. That's not their thing. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I liked it. But like I say, so far, they've never done scoop marks on me. Bruises, they'll arouse me. The burning, but they don't. Oh, but that did freak me out back in 2000, and I have that story on here too on YouTube. The experience I had where they created the black-eyed adult virtual reality experience. I had 3 of them that morning: the tall black angel, black-eyed adult, and the levitation above the water. I had those 3 experiences, and when they gave me during that same morning, on a Saturday morning, when they gave me the black-eyed adult, see, they're always doing things with my left wrist and my left part of my body. They never do things to my right part of my body. It's always my left part of my body. And here again, these, I don't know if they're Greyz or reptilians. I suspect a little bit of both. But the Greyz, they gave me this virtual reality scenario, walking up to a black-eyed adult who was appeared in the back of my freaking car. This was totally in the altered state of consciousness. It was awesome. I was in, this time I could actually say I was in the astral realm because it was pitch black. Of course, when I saw my car, I was just walking down the sidewalk. All of a sudden, I turned to my left, and it was exact replica of my car was sitting there, and a freaking black-eyed adult was in the back seat with big old evil eyes flashing at me. To make a long story short, the Grey communicated to me to go up and walk up to the black-eyed adult, and she grabbed. I wanted to touch her. They told me to go up and walk up to her and touch her arm. When I did, she took her right hand, and grabbed my left wrist, and it hurt. I mean, she grabbed it hard. And there were some other little parts, but I put that in my tall, I think, I put that in the video of titled The Tall Black Angel. But yeah, to make a long story short, when I got back to physical reality in 3D, I opened my eyes when I got back to my bed. But anyway, they told me how to get away from her. And I explained all that in that video. But yeah, so when I got back to 3D reality, I opened my eyes after she grabbed my arm in the astral realm, the black-eyed adult. I opened my eyes back in 3D reality. And my left vein on my left wrist. See, they have this freaking fetish with my left freaking wrist, man. It started popping up and down physically, but it was actually hurting. You know, it was hurting. I mean, not excruciating pain, but it was hurting. It's because, you know, they can make you feel pain and stuff. It was popping up and down physically and hurting, but it only hurt for about 7 minutes, and then it completely went away. And now I realize what the little shits did. They created that scenario for me, and then they took blood. I think they gave me a blood draw. I really do. They used their invisible ethereal technology to take some blood out of my vein. I have no doubts. Took me several months later to figure that out, because my Romanian friend, she said they've taken blood from her before. And so yeah, I guarantee you that's what they did, but they didn't leave a mess or anything. But yeah, I mean, man, they can screw with your head any which way, but I love it. But yeah, okay, so thanks for listening.